Engaging a student is a challenge in itself. For one, there must always be an invisible line that cannot be crossed by either a student or a teacher. For although they are equal in nature, they have a different hierarchy and status, which makes the whole idea of a teacher getting closer to a student complicated. But since the teacher must hold themselves in a higher standard, they must always try to engage students, to make them feel at ease when they're around. Otherwise, it'll be harder to unravel how they are as a person, further making it hard to distinguish how best to approach the class. As they say it, when you hate the teacher, you'll end up hating the subject as well, even though it was your favorite before. That happens, the student's comprehension to the topic will be negated too, and that's a problem. That being said, there are teaching strategies that will help a teacher draw closer to a student without putting a toe out of the line. This is in the means of our discussions, By making the discussion engaging and fun, you'll see that there will be a higher chance that the students will swallow each of the discussion you indulge them with. One way of doing so is strategizing a cooperative learning. What is this thing? Simple. It will enable you to navigate the class because then they won't be individuals but rather as a small group. You'll team them up and give them certain tasks that they can do together. Usually, there are 2 to 5 members in this type of activities, and this calls for a cooperative pro-social behavior in order for the task to be successful. It is thus imperative to choose wisely to which group you'll put a certain student. While it's good to put diverse characteristics in one group, it will be better if they have certain commonalities that will enable them to see each other eye to eye. Of course, assuming that you've grouped them well enough, you'll have to keep an eye to their progress and check them out from time to time. Cooperative learning has 5 basic elements. 1. Positive interdependence. Students must feel responsible enough for their own and group's efforts. 2. Face-to-face interaction. Students need to encourage one another. 3. Individual and group accountability. Each of them must feel accountable for their own task. Likewise, the group as a whole is accountable for meeting their goals. 4. Group behaviors. Group members gain direct instructions in the interpersonal, social, and collaborative skills needed to work with others. And 5. Group processing. Each members analyze their own and the group's ability to work together. Assuming that the elements are all present, it is also crucial to take into account the flow in which this strategy go. Without further ado, here are the procedures. 1. Pre-instructional planning. Plan out how the groups will be formed and structure, how they will interact with each other. 2. Introduce the activity to the students. Of course, you need to give them a head up how they'll do their task and arm them with enough knowledge to be able to accomplish it. 3. Monitor and intervene. See that they progress and try to steer them in the right direction without spoon-feeding them. 4. Assessment. Their task should be assessed objectively. Although you've already done some initial assessment by monitoring them, you also have to do this thing to enable you to see whether they have progressed far enough or if you need to steer them through that direction as well. Number 5. Process. Group processing involves asking the group to rate their own performance and set goals for themselves to enhance the efficiency of their teamwork. That's all. Trust me, following these steps will allow you to move closer to your students and give them the best learning experience they can ever imagine. Do this and you'll be remembered as the teacher who taught them to have fun in the center of discussion. Otherwise, you'll be known as that lousy teacher who doesn't even know what they're talking about.